Joining me now live for more on this is Joel Gibson from One Big Switch. Joel, appreciate your time. So rises of about 20% predicted. What does this mean for households and businesses?
Oh, it's going to be very tough. There's no question about that. We're talking about an average increase around 20%. In fact, the Victorian regulators come out this morning after the Australian energy regulator to say Victorian prices are going up by 31%. So even worse in Victoria. And of course, it comes on top of an average increase last year of around 20% as well. So there's a cumulative impact at a time when I don't think I've ever seen so many different household bills going up so steeply at the same time.
No, it's quite extraordinary, and 31%, that's a lot, as you mentioned. Why are we continuing to see these increases?
Well, this is the flow through from the explosion in wholesale energy prices, which started probably a little over a year ago. Now, though we have started to get those under control as a result of that government energy package announced in December. But as you can see, all it's done is bring the increase this year in New South Wales, South Australia and Queensland down from a predicted 36% to around 20%. So it has had some impact. But that's cold comfort for those households who are going to have to find probably $300, $400 extra for electricity in the next year or so. On top of, as I said, everything else going up so steeply as well. It's going to be really tough. And we are seeing a little bit of extra relief from state and federal governments to try and help, especially the most vulnerable households, to deal with that. But I think we'll see more announcements in the months to come.
In your view, which state has actually offered the best energy relief?
At the moment, Victoria has probably the most generous offer, which is up to $500 simply for visiting the Victorian Energy Comparison website, which is called Victorian Energy Compare. Now, if you do that before the 24th of March, you can get $250. And then after the 24th of March, there's another $250. So visit twice, and that's up to $500 for Victorian households. There are some promises on both sides of the political spectrum in New South Wales for extra payments of around $250 for households and $315 for small businesses on the Labor side. And then obviously in other states, we're waiting to see what is new, because there have been in recent years sometimes as much as sort of $1,500 on offer for the households that are experiencing serious financial emergencies. So there is that state government help there. Mostly it's means tested, targeted at pensioners and concession card holders and some self-funded retirees. And I do expect to see more of that from all states and territories, because I don't think they can look pensioners in the eye, particularly this year, and say there's nothing more for you.
Even this morning, the Energy Minister, Chris Bowen, suggested that measures will be introduced in the May budget to further help households. In your view, what should this look like? What can be done to provide more immediate relief?
Well, the danger, of course, economists will warn that anything that is just a cash payment to households could fuel further inflation. But I think when we're talking about pensioners who spend so much more, a high proportion of their income on essentials, it's a very different kettle of fish to when we're talking about households that have significant savings. So I think we'll see a lot more targeted relief for pensioners, concession card holders, maybe self-funded retirees, and, family tax benefit recipients, for example. There might be, as in the case of the Victorian power saving bonus at the moment, or the Coalition's promise in New South Wales, a little bit more assistance across the board. But particularly, I think, for those most needy households, we're going to have to see more than what's on offer at the moment. And some of those emergency assistance schemes that they have in certain states, New South Wales has one, Queensland has one, WA has one for households that are experiencing serious financial emergencies. I think they're going to be inundated this year, those schemes, and so they might have to beef those up a bit as well.
Have you got any advice for Australians to take control of their energy bills?
Absolutely. I think this year, you're going to have to switch maybe more than once in the year, because we are seeing out-of-cycle rate rises. So if the prices go up 2 or 3 times during the course of a year, you need to go back to the market 2 or 3 times and make sure that the plan you're on is still competitive. I mean, the regulator said this morning when they announced these price hikes, these likely price hikes, they said you can save up to 17% just by shopping around and switching to the cheapest plan on the market at the moment. So that could almost, wipe out that 20% increase that's coming in the middle of the year. If you're paying the government reference price at the moment, you can pay hundreds of dollars less by switching onto the cheapest plan. So that's something that every household's going to need to do, and not just once this year.
So good advice there. Shop around. Joel Gibson, we'll leave it there. I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Danica.